हरे जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन नंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन नंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी रावणचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hari Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hari Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Jai Gurudev Jai Gurudev Gurudev Jai Gurudev Jai Srila Gurudev Gurudev Jai Gurudev Gurudev Jai Gurudev Jai Srila Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल निताय गौरांग भगवान की जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय So today we are reading from Canto 10, chapter 58. We will be reading verses from 23 to 25. And we will be reciting text 25. Bhagavamstatra nivas Swanam priya chikirsaya Agnay khandavam da Arjunasya sarathi Bhagavamstatra nivasan Swanam priya chikirsaya Agnay khandavam dat Arjunasya sarathi Bhagavamstatra nivasan Swanam priya chikirsaya Agnay khandavam da Arjunasya sarathi Bhagavamstatra nivasan Swanam priya chikirsaya Agnaya khandavam datum Arjunasya sarathi Bhagavan tatra nivasan Swanam priya chikirsaya Agnay khandavam datum Arjunasya sarathi Bhagavan tatra nivasan Swanam priya chikirsaya Agnay khandavam datum Arjunasya sarathi Mataji's Bhagavam tatra nivasan Swanam priya chikirsaya Agnay khandavam datum Arjunasya sarathi Bhagavam tatra nivasan Swanam priya chikirsaya Agnay khandavam datum Arjunasya sasaratvihi. Word to word meaning: Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Tatra, there, Nivasan, residing, Swanam, for his own devotees, for his own Priya, pleasure, Chikirsaya, desiring to give, Agnay, to Agni, the demigod of fire, Khandavam, the Khandava forest, Datum, in order to give, Arjunasya, of Arjun, Asa, he became, Sarthihi, the chariot driver. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada disciples ki jai. Translation: the Supreme Lord stayed in that city for some time to please his devotees. On one occasion, Sri Krishna wanted to give the Khandav forest as a gift to Agni, and so the Lord became Arjuna's charioteer. Purport: Srila Jiva Goswami explains the sequence of events that occurred during Lord Krishna's stay with the Pandavas. He states that first the Khandav forest was burnt, then Kalindi was found, then the city was constructed, and then the assembly hall was presented to the Pandavas. Hare Krishna. Let us say the prayers together. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितमाश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरविषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यं जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I seek blessings at the lotus feet of all the devotees so that I can say something for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord and for my own personal purification. So, we have been discussing this chapter that Krishna marries the five princes. Yesterday, Prabhuji was very beautifully explaining that how Kalindi had completely taken shelter of Krishna. So, today we will discuss further. So, today's discussion is from verse 23 to 25. So, we recited the verse 25. So we'll just read the translation and purport of the previous two verses, that is 23 and 24. So the verse 23 is Bhagavamstat 23. 23 is Tathavadat Kudakesho Vasudevaya so apitam pratham aropya tad vidvan dharma rajam upagamat. Its translation is Sukdev Goswami continued. Arjun repeated all this to Lord Vasudev, who was already aware of it. The Lord then took Kalindi onto his chariot and went back to see King Yudhishthir. The 24th verse is यादवे कृष्णा संधिस्ता पार्थानां परमाद्भुतं कार्यम आसा नगरम विचित्रम विश्वकर्मणा. So it has both translation and purport. So translation is, describing a previous incident, Sukdev Goswami said, upon the request of the Pandavas, Lord Krishna had Vishwakarma built them a most wonderful and amazing city. Purport, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti mentions that this city was constructed before the burning of the Kandava forest and hence before the Lord found his bride Kalindi. And today's text is, the Supreme Lord stayed in that city for some time to please his devotees. On one occasion, Sri Krishna wanted to give the Khandava forest as a gift to Agni, and so the Lord became Arjuna's charioteer. So we have discussed in this chapter that the Pandavas, so Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana and all, they had tried to burn them. So anyway, they have returned back and they have been given this kingdom of Indraprastha. It was not completely developed, but some portion had already developed. And Yudhishthir had already become the king. He had got the blessings of Bhishma Pitama, and also Dhritarashtra had also agreed. So Indraprastha was already there. It will be expanded after this Khandava forest is burnt, and then Maya Danav constructs a beautiful palace for them. So it is mentioned that, so I will discuss something from a Mahabharata Adi Parva. So there it is mentioned in detail that how this Khandava forest was burnt. So it is mentioned that when Yudhishthir had already started ruling in the Prastha, and Yudhishthir was a devotee of Krishna, we all know, and a very pious and very virtuous soul he was. So he was ruling his kingdom in a very noble way, and he made sure that that virtue, pleasure, and profit, that is always there in the kingdom, and there is no suffering in the kingdom. And he considered all the citizens of his kingdom as his own self. He never thought that they are different from me, or they are my citizens, or I have to rule over them. So that kind of mentality Yudhishthir was not having. So he was thinking that everyone is my own self, they are all like my friends, they are all like my family members. And because of this, so virtue was like expanding in the kingdom. And the citizens were also completely satisfied, they were completely happy. And since their soul and their heart was completely satisfied, so most of the time the citizens used to spend their time in meditation, meditating on the Supreme Lord, and they were mostly engaged in the pious activities because of the rule of Yudhishthir. It is mentioned that Yudhishthir was like a full moon. He was like a full moon, but without any stain. He did not have any dark spot, Yudhishthir. In such a way, he was ruling the kingdom. And his brothers, so they were helping him to bring the other kings also under his sway, under the kingdom. And all the kings were happy also, because Yudhishthir was not a kind of a ruler, he was a friendly person to each and everyone. So other kings, like subordinate kings, they were also happy to come under Yudhishthir's rule. So in that way, Yudhishthir Maharaj was ruling, and he was also protecting all the pious people. All the good people were there. He was giving complete protection to them. And one of the qualities which has been mentioned about Yudhishthir was that when he used to speak, so one thing we all know, that he was always truthful. He never used to speak any lie, that we all know. But along with that, it is mentioned that he never spoke any word which was intolerable and unbearable. It was not that if there's something true, because we have to speak truth, no doubt about it, but we should not speak in such a way that it hurts other person's feeling. In Gita also, in I think in 17th chapter, Krishna says that Anudega Karam Vakyam Satyam Priyam Hitam. That it should be truthful also, Satyam. So Satyam is very important, but along that, it is also important that it is be Priyam, that it should be also pleasing to the heart. And along with that, it should be Hitam, that it should be beneficial also to the other people. So that was the principle which Yudhishthir Maharaj was following when he was ruling the kingdom. So that is how he was ruling. Everyone was happy in his kingdom, and Krishna was also there. The Supreme Personality of Godhead was also there in his kingdom. So Krishna was staying for a very long period of time. So it was summer time during that time. So when it was summer, so the weather was not pleasant inside the palace or where they were staying at that time. So Arjun, he told to Krishna that let us go to the bank of Yamuna. So on the bank of Yamuna, the weather will be very pleasant, and there are like green trees are also there, flowers will also be there, and the water of the Yamuna will also be cool there. And we have also some mansions built there. We can go there and spend some time near the bank of Yamuna. So that was near the Khanda forest only. So Krishna happily agreed to go with Arjun. And along with that, they also took many servants also. So Draupadi also went, other queens also went. So Mahabharata mentioned that Subhadra was also there when they had gone to the shore of Yamuna to spend time during the summer season. It was like a people have summer vacation when they go to hill station or hilly places. That in that way they had gone there. But before going there, so they also took permission of Yudhishthir Maharaj because he was the king. So they took the permission, and Yudhishthir gave them the permission, and there they went. So when they went there, so they were having a very nice time. The beautiful mansion was there. So everyone was enjoying. There were song, there were dance. So nice food items were there. Nice juices were there. Everything was there. And Arjun and Krishna, they were also together enjoying. So when they were enjoying, so they were mostly discussing because they were from warrior clan. So they were discussing that how they nicely they fought this battle, they won this particular, they defeated this particular enemy, and also they were having this kind of discussion. And while they were discussing, so they also went inside the wood. That they went means inside the forest, and they were talking together with each other, and they were having a very good time with each other. So as they were speaking to each other, so from a distance, they saw a very effulgent personality coming, very tall and effulgent personality coming. So it is mentioned that his appearance was like a sal tree, and his complexion was like molten gold. And he was having a bright yellow beard, which was tinged with green color. So that personality was there, and he appeared just like a morning sun when he was coming. So as soon that person came, so Arjun and Krishna, they were sitting, so they stood up in reverence to him, sorry. So they stood up, and then they both asked to that personality that, who are you? Then that personality said that, I am a voracious Brahman, and I eat a lot, and currently I am very hungry. So I want some food. I want that you both should give me some food to eat. So Krishna and Arjun, so they said, okay, fine, no problem. There are lots of food is there. So whatever food you want, we can give you that food. There are food is there, drinks are there, juices are there. So anything you want, we will supply you. But that person said that, no, I am not an ordinary person and I do not eat ordinary food. Just know you two noble souls that I am Agni. So I am Agni, so my food is also something different and something special. And currently I am extremely hungry and there is nothing which can satiate my hunger in this entire universe. So that is why I have been told to come to both of you. So that is why I have come. And it has been told that only you both can satisfy my hunger. So both asked, like Krishna and Arjuna asked from him that what is the way, means how your hunger can be satisfied. So then Agni said that for my hunger to be satisfied, I have to eat the entire Khandava forest. Unless and until I eat the entire Khandava forest, my hunger will not be satisfied and you both have to help me. So they asked that you can yourself eat the Khandava forest, then why you need us to help you? Then the person said, Agni said that previously I had tried to eat this Khandava forest. I tried to like devour it, but I was not able to do so. The reason being that in this Khandava forest lives a Naga, that is Takshak. And Takshak is a friend of Indra. So as soon as I try to eat the forest or devour the forest, immediately Indra starts pouring rain on the forest and the fire gets extinguished. And because of which I am not able to eat the forest. So I have tried multiple times, and in spite of my efforts, Indra is extinguishing the fire and I am not able to eat this forest, and I am completely hungry. So you have to help me anyhow. Otherwise, I will be in a very miserable situation. So now the question comes that what was the reason that Agni was so hungry? That was one question. And the second question is that is it not like anti-environmental to eat the entire forest or burn the entire forest? Because in today's situation, it will be like a great demand will be there that why people are burning the forest. So then it is explained in the Puranas. It is explained there is a history behind it that how Agni became so hungry, why he wanted to eat the Khandava forest, and why actually Khandava forest Krishna also wanted to burn it. So it is said that there was one king. His name was Svetaki. So this Svetaki king, so he was a very noble king. He had lots of power. He had lots of prowess. So all this quality he was having. It is mentioned that in qualities, in characteristics, in power, in nobility, he was like equivalent to Indra only. And he was a great knower of the Vedic scriptures. And since he was the great knower of the Vedic scriptures, so he used to conduct many fire sacrifices in his kingdom. And to conduct the Vedic sacrifices, yagyas, and the fire sacrifices, so he had employed many yajnik brahmanas. So many priests were there, many brahmanas were there. So they were employed to chant the Vedic mantras, to pour like ghee, butter, and all the paraphernalia at the Havan Kund, and they had to do the yajna. And this yajna was not for one day or 1 week or 1 month. It used to continue for years. And because of this, what had happened that all the brahmanas and the priest got completely exhausted. And because the smoke was coming from the Havan Kund, that the yajna smoke was coming, so their eyes started burning. And because they had to completely keep on chanting the mantras, so because of that, what had happened, that they become extremely tired and they became fatigued, and they lost all their energies. So much so that they got completely frustrated, and they left the Yajna Kund and the place where they were performing the sacrifice, and they told to King Svetaki that we will not be able to assist you because the service which we are doing, it is too exhausting for us to do. And physically for us, it is not possible to perform this kind of sacrifices. So they stopped the sacrifices and the Brahmanas went away. But this king, the Svetaki, so he was very much interested because he wanted that the fire sacrifices should go, all this should be going on. So he started approaching different Brahmanas, different priests, but everyone was knowing the history that he takes service from the Brahmanas like anything. Like he just employs them, and they have to keep on continuously chanting the mantras 24/7. Continuously they have to chant. And they knew that if they accept his proposal, then what will be their situation? So everyone refused that no, we are not going to participate in this yajna. So the king became very angry. So he was angrily telling to the Brahmanas that that is your duty, that you have to assist the king. When the king is trying to do something noble, he is trying to do some Vedic sacrifices. That is the duty of the Brahmanas to help us. So the Brahmanas realized that the king is becoming quite angry. So the Brahmanas said to the king that you better take the help of Rudra, Lord Shiva, because he is the only person who can help you. So as soon as the king heard about that Rudra can help me, so immediately he went to the mountain Kailash. And there he started performing all kinds of austerities. This King Svetaki. So it is said that he was standing on one leg and he was raising both his arms, and then he was performing penance, and he was hardly eating anything. Maybe in a day or after several hours he would eat something like roots and fruits he used to eat. So in that way he did like severe penance. So after doing this, Lord Shiva, he got pleased with him. So he appeared in front of him, and then the king told him that what actually his demand is. He wanted to perform sacrifices. So the Rudra said, the Lord Shiva said that if you want my help, then you have to perform fire sacrifice for continuous 12 years. And for these 12 years, you have to keep on pouring clarified butter in the fire. That is why that is how you have to perform the sacrifice. And when you are performing this sacrifice, then you have to follow the vow of a celibate. Like you have to a brahmachari during that time for the continuous 12 years. And during that time, you should not indulge in any kind of wrongful activities. You should do it with complete and rapt attention, that kind of fire sacrifice of pouring the clarified butter. So Svetaki, he was anyway, he did not have any problem in doing those things. So he immediately agreed, and for continuous 12 years, kept on pouring clarified butter in the fire. That is how Svetaki did it. And finally, when after 12 years, Rudra, Lord Shiva, he became very pleased with him. Then he appeared. Then Satyaki said that I want to continue this fire sacrifice because I want to ascend to the higher planets. I want to like accumulate piety in my life. So Rudra said that you will achieve whatever you want, but just know that I do not help people in fire sacrifices, but you will be helped by Durvasa. Durvasa is my own like little portion of me only, so I will tell him and he is going to help you. So make all the arrangement for the sacrifices, and after that you come to me and Durvasa is going to help you. So he made all the arrangements and all, and then he went to Lord Shiva, and then Durvasa came, then all the Brahmanas came, and then they all helped him to conduct the sacrifices. So if this sacrifice happened, but during that time what had happened, that since in that fire, that is Yajna Kund, the clarified butter was poured continuously for 12 years. So what had happened, that Agni had eaten the butter for 12 years, so he started suffering from indigestion. So it became like overeating, it became from him. So because he started suffering from indigestion, and because of that he lost appetite also, he could not eat anything more, he lost appetite. So his body became pale, he became completely sick, and he did not know what to do. So he was not knowing what is the cure for his disease. Then he went to Lord Brahma. And when he went to Lord Brahma, so Lord Brahma said that, okay, fine, I understand your problem. And then he told him that the reason why you are suffering, because for continuous 12 years you have eaten butter. So it happens with us also, no, like 20, like for long period of time, if someone eats the same kind of food, that is unhealthy also, eating butter continuously. That is pure butter he was eating. So for 12 years he ate. So that was the reason that you are suffering currently. So in order, because you are suffering and you have not been able to eat also because of indigestion, so that is the reason that you have become very unhealthy, and you have like lost all your like strength also, physical strength also. So now to regain your physical strength and to cure your problem of surfeit or like indigestion, you can say, that you have to also consume the Khandava forest, which is there on the earthly planet, that you have to eat. And the other thing is that when the forest will be burnt, then there are animals in the forest, so they also will be burnt. So the fats which will be coming from the animals, so when you will consume that fat, that will also cure your disease of indigestion or whatever the physical problem you are having. That is why you go to that forest on the earth and you try to consume that forest. So just as soon as Agni heard this, he came to the Khandava forest on the earthly planet, and he lit the fire, and he was also assisted by Vayu. So as soon as he tried to devour the forest, so immediately there were in that forest, there were gigantic elephants. So all the elephants, they started taking water from the ponds and the lakes were there, and from their trunk they started extinguishing the fire. And there are mentioned that there are nagas and the snakes, there were 1,000 hoods snakes were there. And all the snakes, in all their hoods, they filled their mouth with water and they started pouring the water on the forest. So the fire started getting extinguished, and along with that, Indra also started helping. Indra also started helping, he started pouring rain on the forest, and the fire used to get extinguished. So he tried a lot to consume the forest, but every time he failed. This person, Agni, failed. So again he went to Brahma. Then Brahma said that fine, you will not be able to successful because Indra is protecting the forest. So you go to the planet Earth, you go, and there you will find two great personalities. So who were Nar Narayan Rishi, Krishna and Arjun. So they are currently near the Khandava forest. So what they are going to do, they will be helping you, they will be assisting you in consuming the Khandava forest. So that is why the Agni, he comes to Krishna and Arjun and seeking their help to consume the Khandava forest. So that is the first reason that why Agni wanted to eat the forest. The second question is that is it not anti-environmental to burn the entire forest? It is wrong also to burn the creatures and all. So it is explained that because during that Mahabharat time, we all know that there were like devotees were there, like Pandavas were there, the devotees communities were also there. Then there were Rakshasas also there on the earthly planet. So that Khandava forest, that was infested with many demoniac people. There are many Rakshasas were there, Yakshas were there, demons were there in the Khandava forest. And Krishna's one purpose was that to annihilate the demons. So he wanted that all these people who are of demoniac quality, or demoniac mentality, so they all should be killed and they all should be completely destroyed. So that is was one of the reason that Krishna wanted that this Khandava forest should be burned. Shri Nitai Gaurang Bhagwan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So that was one of the basic reason, and there were like Nagas were there, all these kind of personalities were there. So they wanted that they all should be killed. Krishna wanted. That is why he orchestrated the plan in such a way that this forest is burnt. So now Arjuna agreed, Krishna agreed. So we'll read in further verses. So before, like, because Arjun wanted to help and Krishna was also there, he also wanted to help. So this was, in a sense, this was one of the first time when Arjuna will be fighting with so many powerful personalities. Not just the demons who were there in the Khandava forest, but we will see later that when this forest was being burnt, so even the celestial beings, Indra was there, then all the Gandharvas, they were there, Yakshas were there, the demigods, they were also coming and attacking Arjuna and Krishna. So Arjuna was single-handedly fighting, although Krishna was anyway, he was there. But we all know that Krishna always wants to glorify his devotees. So Krishna was giving all the credit to Arjuna. So that is how, so this was one of the first instance where Arjuna was able to show his archery skill. Couple of times was also there, but in this way, in a very big way, he was able to show his archery skill. But before he wanted to fight, so he wanted some thing from Agni. So he wanted that he should be given a quiver which is inexhaustible. And then he got the Gandiva bow also during that time only. He got the Gandiva bow, then he got the two quivers which was inexhaustible. And then he was given a chariot also. And he was given the horse also. So all these things he got. And as soon as Arjuna got all these things, so first of all, what he did was that he did not immediately just he mounted the chariot and started fighting. He first circumambulated the chariot. And he then bowed down in front of the chariot. And then he actually mounted on the chariot. So this is what the consciousness of the devotee should be there, because whatever is there, that should be utilized in the service of Krishna. So we should think that those things are also very sacred. So it has to be used. So I heard like one pastime, like when Haigree Prabhu was there, so he was helping Prabhupada, serving Prabhupada by using typewriter, like editing his books and all. So once what happened that he had to do something, so he moved the typewriter with his leg. Then Prabhupada said that you cannot do that because typewriter is a very sacred thing. You are using it for the service of Krishna. So not touch it with your leg. Then Hagrid Prabhu, because they were new during that time, so he said that Prabhupada, you are saying that typewriter is sacred, but is my leg not sacred? So what is wrong in one sacred thing touching the other sacred thing? Then Prabhupada said that no, your leg is also sacred, but there are different things which has to be taken care in a proper way, different way. So that is a particular rules and regulation, and that has to be followed. So that is why we have to take care, like whatever we are using, that has to be used in the service of Krishna. So the Arjuna mounted the chariot, and again here, like in the Mahabharata war, we see that Arjuna had requested Krishna to become his charioteer. And here what we are reading that Krishna again here becomes the charioteer of Arjuna. So he becomes the charioteer of Arjuna and Krishna is also assisting. And then they started. Then they say Agni to light the fire, and Agni lights the fire, and Agni is anyway, he is held by Vayu also. So as soon as the fire is lit, then again all the creatures, like elephants are there, as we discussed, elephants were there, snakes were there. So what they all wanted, they wanted to extinguish the fire. So again they started trying to do the same thing, but when they were trying to do, so Arjuna, he started shooting the arrows, and he started killing all the yakshas were there, rakshasas were there, all the demoniac like beings were there in that forest. So he started killing all of them one by one. And there was like loud uproar were there. There were like loud cries were there, uproar were there, and all these creatures were falling down dead. And soon the entire forest was completely engulfed in the fire, and it was like completely started it burning. So as soon as it happened, so Indra came to know that this Agni has again lit the forest, and it is now consuming the Khandava forest. So as soon as Indra came to know, he started sending massive clouds. So all the massive clouds, it gathered just above the Khandava forest to pour the rain on the forest. But initially what happened that when the clouds wanted to pour the rain on the forest, so but the forest was burning in a so extensive way that all the clouds evaporated. So there was no trace of the clouds, all the clouds also got evaporated. So the rains did not come inside the forest. So as soon as Indra saw that, so he again started sending thousands of massive clouds. That is how he wanted to burn. And the entire, like the Khandava forest was covered by the cloud. And the rain started also pouring and the fire was also burning. So there was all round, there was smoke was there inside the forest. And there was loud cries of the animals were there, creatures were falling down. So, and the rain was also falling down. So Arjun thought that this fire will get extinguished by the rain. So what Arjun did, he started firing the arrows, and just above the Khandava forest, he created a kind of an umbrella. Just like in Govardhan Leela, Krishna lifted the Govardhan mountain. So similarly here he created a kind of umbrella with his arrows. And when he created the umbrella, so when the massive cloud started pouring rain, so initially it was not able to pierce the umbrella made of the arrows, but somehow or the other it used to get displaced. So Arjuna had to continuously he shoot his arrows just to make sure that the umbrella remains intact and the cloud is not able to pour rain on the forest. So that was happening on the top, and the bottom, like there was like a big chaos was there, and all the creatures were being killed. So they were being destroyed by both by Krishna and Arjuna. And meanwhile, Agni was what he was doing. Agni was consuming the forest one by one. He was consuming all the forest. All the creatures were being killed. So that is how it was happening. So when they saw that this forest is now completely going to be burned, so Indra was conscious that his friend Takshak may also be killed inside the forest. So he started to fight with Arjuna and Krishna, and to assist him, Yakshas came, all the Rakshasas came, Gandharvas came, other demigods also came there. And they all started fighting with Arjuna and Krishna, and there was a fierce fight between the demigods, and there was only two person was there. One was Arjun was there, other was Krishna was there. Krishna anyway, he was the protector. So, and the fierce fighting was going on. And then Indra was seeing that this Arjun, he is a very powerful warrior, and he was single-handedly, he was able to defeat everyone. So when Indra saw that, so he was like, instead of becoming upset and angry that I am being defeated, so he became very jubilant because they are warriors now. So for them, it is not like only victory and defeat. So when they see that the opponents are very powerful and have the great ability, so they have this tendency to also praise the other party also. So he became very much happy when Indra saw that Arjuna's like skill he saw. So that is how they were like fighting. So when when that fight was going on, so another thing had happened, that Takshak son, and during that time what had happened, that before the forest started burning, this Takshak, he had already left the forest and he had went to Kurukshetra. So that Indra was not aware during that time. And but his son Aswasena was there. So Aswasena, he wanted to flee from that forest. That Aswasena wanted. So, but he was not able to do so. Aswasena was son of Takshak. He wanted to flee the forest. So his mother, Aswasena's mother, so somehow or other she wanted to protect his son. So he ate Aswasena. She took her inside her own belly. But when Arjuna saw, he cut the tail of that snake, the mother of Aswasena. But somehow or other, with the help of king with Indra, so Aswasena was able to escape the forest. So he went away from the forest. So all these things were happening. So during that time, there was a celestial voice. A voice came from the heaven. It is not mentioned who spoke, but there was a celestial voice. So in that celestial voice, it said that to Indra, that Indra, you should know that you are fighting with this Krishna and Arjun, but should know that no one can overpower them. They are indefeatable. No one can surpass them. So you should think that you cannot defeat Krishna and Arjun. That is first thing the celestial voice said. Second thing the celestial voice said, that you should know that your friend Takshak, so that Takshak has already left this Khandava forest and he has gone to Kurukshetra. So there is no use for you to fight to protect your friend because your friend is no longer here. And the third thing the celestial voice said was that you should know that they are the Nar Narayan Rishi, who had helped you previously in protecting you in multiple situations. Like they had helped you in saving you from Sahastra Kavach. So that is the celestial voice said that Indra also understood that there is no use in fighting, and Indra was also very much impressed by the strength and by the, you can say, skill and the prowess of Arjuna, and Krishna was also there, of course. So that is how it happened, and Indra also became happy. So, and all these things celestial wise happened. So at that time there was another this Maya Dana was there. So Maya Dana was hiding somewhere. So when Indra also saw, when Krishna also saw, when Agni also saw, so they all wanted to consume Maya Dana. So Maya Dana thought that no, there is no chance for me to escape now. So immediately he ran towards Arjun and he started seeking shelter of Arjun. And we know that one of the principle of Kshatriya is that anyone comes to them, they give them protection. So when Mayadana came to Arjun, so Arjun like said to him that do not worry, I will give you protection. So when Krishna saw, when Agni also saw that that Arjun is giving protection to Mayadana, so they left Mayadana. They did not kill Mayadana. Agni also does not consume Mayadana. So in this this burning of this Khandava forest, so there are only 7 creatures or living beings which were saved. Takshak was not there. Another one was saved was Aswasena, that was the son of Takshak. Second was saved was Maya Danav, that is the second person who was saved. And there were five birds. Sarangaka's birds were there who were saved. So the 5 Sarangaka birds, so there is a big story behind that. It is mentioned in that Adi Parva. So, and the 5 Sarangaka birds who were saved was, one was the Jarita, who was the mother of the 4, there were 4 children, where 4 young birds were there, all the Sarangaka birds were there. And the mother was Jarita, and the 5 other birds' name were, one was Jaritari, then Sarisrika, Stambhamitra, and Drona. So all the 4 offsprings of the bird were there. And the reason why these birds were saved was that there was a very pious king long back, and his name was Mandappa. So that king was there, and he was a very pious king. So to cut long story short, so because of his piety, he went to the heavenly planet. So he went to the loka of Pitris, but he was not given access to all the regions of that heavenly planet. So he was little confused that why I am not giving access to all the regions. So then there the demigods and the regions of the higher planets said that because you were a king and you did not have any son. Since you do not have any son, so it is said that if someone is not having any son who is married and a king, so he will go to a hellish planet called Put, and he will not get access to all the places in the heavenly kingdom. So if you want to have the access and you want to go to all the locals of the heavenly kingdom, so you should have to bear offspring. So when the king heard this, so he came down on the earthly planet to have offspring. So then he contemplated that how he can quickly have the offspring. Then he contemplated, then he came to the understanding that it is in the bird species only that you can quickly have so many offspring. That is why he took the form of a bird and he married to a bird, Sarangaka bird, that is Jarita he married. And from Jarita he had the 4 offsprings. And as soon as he had the 4 offsprings, he left the bird and he went to have another offspring and to another wife, and another wife's name is Lapita. So from Jarita he went to Lapita. So when he was going there, so at that time he had seen Agni, that Agni is coming there, and he understood the intention of Agni. So since he had understood the intention of Agni, so he had requested Agni to not consume or kill his children. So that time Agni had also assured him that I will not kill your children. So then when the Agni came to kill the offsprings of this pious king, so who were in the bird species, so then all the 4 children were very infant, but they also prayed to Agni, and Agni also came to know that they are the children of this king. So the Agni also decided that to leave the children. In this way, this 5 birds who were saved, and one was Aswasena was saved. Another person who was saved was Mayadana. Who Mayadana we will read further that how Mayadana is helping in constructing this beautiful palace, which becomes the cause that Duryodhana became very envious when he saw that extraordinary palace in the Indraprastha. So this all thing happened. So all they were saved, and Indra was also very happy. So Indra told to Arjuna and Krishna also, because when Krishna comes, so he does some pastime because he plays the role of a human being. That is how Krishna acts. Like we see in the pastime of Lord Ram also, when Lord Ram comes, then he requests this ocean to give him way to Lanka. It's not that Lord Ram had to seek permission; he could have immediately taken it. But anyway, they are like playing a role, so that is the role they are playing. So at that time when Indra was there, so Indra said that the sight of God will not go, should not go in vain. So O Arjuna, I should ask something from me. He says both to Arjuna and Krishna, I should ask something from me. So Arjuna says that you give me your celestial weapons. So Indra says that I am giving you this benediction and I will give you a celestial weapon, but I will not give you now. When you will get the Pashupati Astra from Lord Shiva, and when the right time will come, then I am going to give you the celestial weapon. That is the first thing. That is what Indra tells to Arjun. And then Krishna, we can see that then Krishna asks from Indra, and we can understand that what Krishna asks, and we can understand the mood of Krishna. Krishna says to Indra that you bless me so that my friendship with Arjuna should always continue. I should always have eternal friendship with Arjuna. So he did not ask anything. Anyway, he did not need to ask, but he was just showing that what is the mood of Krishna, that what is the intention of Krishna. As Prabhuji was very wonderfully explaining yesterday, that Krishna has unlimited affection for us. And we also have unlimited affection for Lord Krishna, but unfortunately we have forgotten that. And Bhakti Yoga is the process by which we endeavor to develop that particular affection. So here when Krishna says that I am the friend of all living entity, and as a Paramatma, he always resides in our heart as a friend, whether we have forgotten him. So here Krishna is saying in front of Arjuna, this benediction Arjuna is not asking, but Krishna is asking that my friendship with Arjuna should always continue for eternity, it should continue. So that is the glory of Krishna, and that is how Krishna acts. So now Krishna, then Indra then gives the benediction to Krishna that your friendship with Arjuna will continue forever. And then Agni is able to now consume the entire forest. So Agni's, you can say the hunger is completely satiated. He is now, Agni is completely now satisfied. So after that, the forest is completely consumed. Then it is mentioned that then Krishna comes, Arjuna comes, and with them come the third person, that is Maya Danav. He accompanies, and then they come, they relaxed, they come to the bank of the Yamuna, and they are now relaxing at the bank of Yamuna before they return back to the palace. So this is how the entire story is there of how this Khandava forest was burned, which is comes in Mahabharata. So one lesson we can learn, which I thought that from this burning of the Khandava forest was that just like when Agni came, so he tried to consume the forest, and then the forest was infested with all the evil beings, all the demons were there, Rakshasas were there, but independently he was not able to do so. So he had to take the shelter of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he also had to take the shelter of devotee of Krishna, Arjun who was there. So similarly, in our life also we see, so our heart is also like a Khandava forest, which is infested with all the vices. All the vice of lust is there, greed is there, anger is there, envy, illusion, like unlimited, we have vices in our heart. So with our own effort, it is almost like impossible. It is like a Herculean task which we are not able to achieve, we will not be able to be successful in achieving that. But if we are taking shelter of Krishna, if we are taking shelter of the devotees of Krishna, if we are taking the shelter of the Guru Sadhu and Shastra, then Krishna personally intervenes in our life. Guru personally intervenes in our own life, and then they mercifully they burn all the sinful desires or sinful tendencies which we have in our heart, and which is like keeping us away from Krishna. And because no matter how best we try, unless and until in all situations, in all circumstances, we are under the shelter of Krishna, we will not be able to free ourselves from all the sinful tendencies, and we will not be able to completely burn the sins which is completely destroying our life. In Bhagavad Gita, when this Krishna is explaining to Arjuna the three modes of material nature, then he explains that if you transcend all the three modes, then you can get freedom from Jan Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, that Krishna is saying. Then Arjuna asks that what is the process for that? That what Krishna is saying in that chapter, he says that Mam Chayo Abhyacharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate. That the word here important is abhyacharena, that without fail in all situation, in all circumstances, we should always be under the shelter of Krishna. It's not that when things are bad, then only we are in shelter of Krishna, or things are good, then we are under the shelter of Krishna. So that should not be the mentality. We should be 24 by 7, 24 hours in a day. So generally, if I see my life, I can say that generally how much time we are under the shelter of Krishna, maybe when we are chanting 16 dawn, 1.5 hours or 2 hours at the most we chant, then maybe we may do Mangal Arti, we may read Prabhupada books. So maybe 3-4 hours in a day we are under the shelter of Krishna. That also maybe externally. And rest 20 hours we do whatever we want to do. So it's not like 24 hours we are under the shelter of Krishna. So we should have to develop that consciousness, and we have to try our best. And along with that, sometimes when we are in a distressful situation, then we come running to Krishna. We seek Krishna's blessing. The Krishna free us from the distressful situation. But when we get freedom, when things become very happy in our life, then somehow or the other we forget Krishna. It's said in Hindi, it is said, no, that dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi, जो दुख में सिमरन करे, जो सुख में सिमरन करे, दुख काहे को है. That is how, like when we are in a distressful situation, we remember Krishna, but in a happy situation, we somehow or the other, unfortunately, forget Krishna. But if we are always under the shelter of Krishna, then Krishna mercifully will destroy everything in our life which is keeping us away from Krishna. So this is what I wanted to discuss today, that we discuss about how this Khandava forest, it got burned. Agni came, he took shelter of Krishna and Arjuna, and all the demoniac personalities who were there, everyone got killed. And Arjuna was also able to show the prowess, and Arjuna got the Kandiva weapon, he got the 2 inexhaustible quivers, he got the chariot which he will use in the Mahabharata war. And then we saw how Krishna, he seeks only one benediction from Indra, that his friendship with Arjuna should continue forever. So we should also pray to the lotus feet of Krishna, that although Krishna wants that we should also be always be under his shelter, so we should also develop that consciousness that we should always be under the shelter of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So thank you very much. Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhupada ki.